Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. 887 our solve count. Can't believe that we've literally solved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of puzzles. Madness. I'm having a real interesting day. Woke up early this morning, went out at the back of my house, found out we've been robbed, so, you know. I'm just going to sit and do some puzzles and try and let my brain be distracted by that. Let's do some non-boxy. I like non-boxy. I think I do. Okay, difficulty 4. Shouldn't be too bad. Not too simple, but not too bad. The real thing is, like, that can't go there. That can't go there. So this can go, like, up to here or up to there in some fashion or another. Only one of these guys can go inwards. But this 6 can't go to there, can't go to there. So it has to take this, which means this 5 has to come out this way. That doesn't have to go to there. This could take up any amount of this. But this 5 does have to go to the right. Can't go to there. If that can't go to there, then that has to go to at least there. Let me just check. 10, 20, 25, 31 out of 36. So there will be a little bit of spare space left for some of these guys. This can't go that way or that way. It's very similar to the situation over here. That seems more likely, but no guarantees. Oh, that turns boxy. And that's boxy as well. Oh god, okay, well. Strip out a bunch of these thoughts then. That means that has to be left like that. That's going to go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That can't go to there. Where can I get 1 back? That's a great question. Because, wait, what did we said? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, no, 10, 20, 25, 31 of 36. There's 5 left over, but that can't be a 3 and a 2. And it can't be a 4 and a 1. So the 5 has to all be together of the leftover space, right? So this 3 can't exist here. But that can't go there. That can't go there or there. Oh, God. But we also have 2 similar-looking corners, which makes this extra scary. This can't do this. That can only go up. That makes 4 in the gap. We need 5 in the gap. Oh, hold on. Some of these 5s could be shared. And that would change a lot of what's going on here. Now we can't share that one because that can't go there or there. We can't share it that way. Who else could be shared? These. Okay, let's keep that in mind. And that means that we could have 3 here There it is. Cheeky 5 overlap. Really sticking it to my brain. So there's 7 more. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Where are the rest of them hiding? 2 back here, and then there's 1 somewhere. 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 5. Non-Boxy, Precision 4, Mingle shape. Now, Precision 4 tells us that it could be the rule that says we can only use these shapes. Because those are the only 4s that we can make. We can't use that 4 because it's boxy. Start with a bunch of the stuff that we know to be must be trues. And then where do we go from there? So, it's now an hour later, and one of the things I had stolen has been recovered, so that's nice. What were we doing here? Non-Boxy Precision 4 Mingles. Okay, well this might come to there, but can't do that. And we discussed earlier that everything has to be this shape, or this shape. So this could do this, it could do that, could do that. And its mingle, some neighboring regions must have different shapes. It doesn't matter how many of those shapes exist. Well, I guess here, these 3 are going to be part of the same zone. And it's either going to be this L, or this Z. So, that's a thing. This tile here, on the back of this 4, can't exist as part of that shape. Because we can't get up high enough to do that, and it can't be part of a Z shape. So I think this either has to be part of a straight line, or that has to be the shape. Which doesn't really do much for me other than this being a potential option, or... Okay, well, actually, if I stop and look at it for a second, it can't be this because that leaves a 1er. So... I think that has to be a shape. That's a nice start. Though I'm not sure about that, because that can't do that. So how would this get out to be a shape? Oh, it can do it that way. That would have to be it, I believe. Though, then how can this... I guess that would have to do that. That would have to go to the left, and that would have to be a T, which we can't. So, let's double check this corner, because if this corner's correct, we can start building outwards. So this has to belong to this, or this, or this. It can't be that one. So it's this, or this. If it's this, that can't exist, that can't exist, therefore it's that. If that exists, this exists. That means this has to be part of one of these shapes. That can exist there then. Because if this went the other way, this couldn't be a T. And it can't hook over there. So I think that's what we've got. Then this is either this and this, which would be valid. Or it could be this and this, which would be valid. So we get a little hung up there. This has to come out to here, at the very least. And this has to go up here. We still know, of course. It's just figuring out now. Perhaps there isn't a line out of this that's guaranteed. Obviously, this is a potential branch of two things. Might not be that there's a specific way out of here. It probably... Oh, okay, well that helps a lot. It could be that. But that would mean that. This would have to do this. I mean, maybe. I'm not going to take that too far past its potential. But yes, thinking about what can actually touch these two is a reasonable thought, isn't it? So this can't be a T. It could be that. It can't be that. It could be this. So it gives still some options. So it doesn't feel like there's any guarantees there. I don't really want to pick one path and then just see if I can get out of here. You know? If this were an L, this couldn't be a T. This couldn't be an L. It could be that. But then, I mean, that could be a T. This can't exist because this has to get out and that's too big. If we do this the other way, it would be this. But then what on earth? This would have to be a Z piece. I mean, it could hypothetically be that. Let's just see if we can colour this into a conclusion. We can't. Immediately. Alright, well, scratch all of that. I need to find some logic, but I don't know where to find it right now. So this can't do that. There's no other way it could be a Z piece. So it's either going to be this or this, which are both the same shape, just different placements of. So we know this obviously isn't that, which would leave that one there as well. That can't be a T. Therefore, I think this has to be this. That's something at least. Because it can't be a T. Can't be another one of those. But that's going to be that or that. If this does this, then we can't do that in yin-yang of it. So that has to go there. I think this is an actual logical progression now. This can't do this, but it can do that. Which means this can't do this. So that would do that. Does this work out? Weren't we just kind of in a very similar position to this just a moment ago? Yeah, this doesn't work because I can't get... Unless this idea was very wrong. So we've got TTL, which suggests Z. T, L, Z. That looks better. Maybe I was really wrong with my original assumption over here. That puts 16 down here. Can we get this done? Yes, we can. Beautiful. All right. Persevering to find bits of logic really helped. My little assumption about the top left corner was very wrong. 565. Non-Boxy, mismatch polyominoes. And I think you could get more syllables out of fewer letters than polyomino. Right, this guy can't do that because that ends up there. Can't do that. All regions must have different shapes, so it's not that, which means it's this. Which means this isn't this. It's at least that. Because that can't go back on itself, and that can't be a shape because that would put two next to each other. So this is at least this, but it could be bigger. This can't do this because it leaves that one there. So can't be that because it leaves that one there. But I think that has to be this. I think. Which leaves that there. This can't go to there without those matching, but it could stop shorter or it could go longer. And it's mismatched, so we must use unique shapes for everything else. So that can't do that. So this can't do this, because that leaves that boxy. I can't do that, because that leaves that boxy. Can't do that, because that leaves those boxy. Huh? Hold on. What was my... Oh, we could do... that. They always get me these things. We can't do this. We do have a forehook, so we can't do a forehook, and that can't copy over to itself anyhow. There's a chance that this is not correct. That could do that, and then this could go the other side. So this seems less likely. Oh, we could do that as well. Couldn't we? But with sevens on the sides, one of those can just be the 7. The other side would have to be different, and the problem with that becomes these two regions are symmetrically the same. So if I find a solution on one side, the solution also applies to the other side, and the puzzle must have a unique solution. Therefore, that's probably not it. So something where this comes out longer seems more appropriate. It's just trying to get non-boxy at the end here. Use you. Yeah, I was like, that works. No, it doesn't. There's somewhere else that this T-shape can go. Can't do this. Can't do that. Can't do this. It's that one boxy that's tripping me up here. I'm pretty happy with the top half, though. Don't see it. We could check progress on this just to make sure we haven't cocked up the top half. All regions must have different shapes. We can't use boxy. So 3. The T-shape 4. And... yeah, the T-shape 4 is the only other 4 we've got, which is this one. So we can't have anything that exists as a 4. That can't go to there. That can't boxy. Those can't match. Oh, brain, what are we missing? Is this correct? Yeah, everything's correct so far. I'm just missing the move. I think it's got to be this or this. I just don't see how to make more unique shapes. Oh, hold on. It's there. How did I do all the variants that I did and not that variant? Answers on... oh, there's the... no, you weren't the last one that's missing. We've got 5 left. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And some sneaky guy. Where is it? Oh, is it you? Oh, did I miss this originally? Non-Boxy polyominoes. I just want to see. There are indeed the correct number of those to do it that way, but that would leave this in the middle, which is no good. That's no good. Okay, well, start with this. It's either that, or that, or that. If it's this, that forces this, and this, and this, and that, which is no good because of this. So, swap that to that side is no good, I believe, because we can't ever make this work. Why are these in different orientations? It doesn't say that that's going to be that, and that's going to be that, and that's going to be that, and that's going to be that, because this can't exist. But I've just never noticed that they'd have the same polyomino in different positions on the board. Right, this can't exist because that can't make a T. We just decided that this doesn't work, right? Because of that. Which leads me to this. But is that the same problem? No, that can go that way. Could that go that way the whole time? That could go that way the whole time, but that leaves 3 there. And that can't go that way now. Curious. Well, clearly a lot of my assumptions are just bad at the moment. That definitely can't go. Was I wrong about other ways I assumed this going? That can't go in there. You know what? Think about how we can get this to be full. How can we fill this center space, you know? Right, this can't go to the right because this never gets filled. If it goes that way, we have to do this. And that just doesn't work. We do it that way. I'm so baffled by this puzzle right now. Can't do that. Let me just think about this corner for a second. Well, hold on. I'm being too assumptive here. This could be a shape. That would be allowed. This would be allowed. So there is space that we can use for non-polyominoes spaces here, and that's where I've definitely not been thinking in the right lines, because I made one of those daft assumptions about the rules that the game loves to put in place in front of me. This now can do that. Alright, let's go back to things that we do know. This touches this. This corner has to get a piece, and it can't be these two, because that's a box. So, the only way the corner gets built is either that, which leaves this, or that. So I think that must exist, because it's the only way we can take a corner. Which is the same. The same doesn't have to be true for up here because we have these free spaces. So the only way this doesn't end up as a 1 is for that to be true. Can we do this? There it is. There it is. Alright, we got there. Good. Let's see if we can squeeze one more in. 39 of 43. So we got 5, 6, 5, 5. Who's got... Oh, not you. Maybe you. Oh boy. Non-Boxy Palisades. Well, there's lots to work with here. So that starts there. That means you take that and you take that. Yes. That can't do that. So that's going to have to do some version of this, I think. But this can't be horizontal that way because that ends up in 2 caps. So that does that at the very least. And if this is a dead end, it can't be a dead end that way because it can't share the line. So it has to be a dead end that way. And you have to take that, and you can't do that, so you have to take that, and I'm happy with that logic. You have to escape out to here, and you have to take a corner at some point, but it could be that, for example. But you have to get out to here at least. Just going to rehydrate. If this was a dead end, going this way, that can be true. If it was going that way, that can also be true. So that doesn't tell me much. This doesn't have to have a wall on the end of it. This can't be a straight line because of the same logic we learned over here. So that has to go that way. That means that has to have a line. And then this is either going to get this or this. Those are a pair of fuzzy lines. Obviously, this can't do that. So it's going to beg the question, what do those four guys do together? This has to get out because it can't be a oneer in the corner. And because that has two lines, that must come up to there. And because that has two lines, that must come up to there. This can't share a region with that, so that has to go up. That has to come up again. This now has a line, so it must pick up this. This needs two lines. They can't share color. So that gets this line and that line, which means that must pick up that. That has to come up again. Okay. More of that, please. This might be attached to that, but the corner ones have to go up and out from the edge. Which means that does have to pick that up. That's going to be that line. That's going to go to there. That has to come out to here. That comes down to there. This picks up this. It might do that. It might not. It's going alright so far. I'll say that much. We're obviously not building a box here. That can't be the case. So it also can't be this. It can be that. Which would leave this. I kind of like it. If we can just figure out the last bits. Just how do we dead end these? Like these, it's gonna sound so silly. These shapes feel like the kind of shapes that you end up getting to with a solution. Which sounds ridiculous when you put it like that. That can do that. Doesn't have to, but it can. This does have to come out and up, actually. Because we have two lines here now, so that's picking up that. This can't be boxy. So that does get that, that gets there. You have to get this line to make you complete. You have to take that line to make you complete. Oh, no. How do I make you a dead end that doesn't interfere with everybody else? Like that! Amazing. Alright, I'm gonna let that percolate as we have, what, 3 left? So I think a 556 will be a good video. Whether it's the next video or not, I'm unsure because, oh boy, I don't want to deal with that guy. Although if I don't keep up with those, we're going to end up where there's like 25 puzzles left and they're just going to be the Gemini deltas of all the different regions, which I do not love the idea of, but hey, we continue to make progress. Hopefully we can get the non-boxy gemmed. How many more do we need to gem for this thing? At least 4 more to see hopefully something happen with whatever this is over here, perhaps? I don't know. What's the earliest window we don't have jeweled? We did that one. We did that one. This is roses. Honestly, I could come back to roses with reasonable confidence, I think. And then Gemini and Deltas. At least there shouldn't be any Gemini and Deltas in the roses. There is that. All right, thank you guys ever so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.